So today I'm talking about a Nissan with the P0140 code, what it is and how you go about fixing it. So what is a Nissan P0140 code? Well, it's an O2 sensor circuit, no activity detected, bank 1 sensor 2. And what does this mean? Well, the onboard computer uses oxygen sensors located on the exhaust to know how much oxygen's been burnt off after combustion, and it's seen a problem with one of these, so it's going to have to be troubleshooted to know why. And bank 1 is always the side of the engine with the number 1 cylinder, and sensor 2 is always the second sensor going down on that bank. And some of the possible causes of this, well, it could be a bad oxygen sensor, could be in the wiring, and possibly a blown fuse. And so the first thing to do when you get this code is to go locate bank 1 sensor 2 oxygen sensor. And there can be some differences, there can be multiple sensors, so it's always a good idea to get a diagram of where all the sensors are located on your Nissan. For example, if you have dual exhaust going back, then you're likely going to have 4 oxygen sensors. If you have single exhaust, then you're very likely going to have 2. But again, this can vary, so it's always a good idea to get a diagram. But the basics of what's going on with these, you're going to have sensor 1, also called the upstream oxygen sensor. It'll be located before the catalytic converter. And then you're going to have sensor 2 located after the catalytic converter, also called the downstream oxygen sensor. So this is the one you want to go locate. You want to locate sensor 2 downstream oxygen sensor. And like I said, these can be located differently, so it's going to vary on the year of the Nissan and the engine type and all these type of things. But first thing to do is locate that sensor. And once you locate it, the next thing to do is check out this wiring real good. Be sure it's all connected, all the connections are good and all these type of things. And basically just keep in mind that anything wrong with this wiring is going to cause the same symptoms as a bad sensor. And also keep in mind that it's on a fuse. There's going to be a fuse box inside the engine compartment, and there's going to be a fuse in there on this circuit. So for example, here's a 2007 Nissan 350Z, and it's got heated oxygen sensors right here, number 85. So if that fuse blew, then there'd be an issue on this circuit. These can be labeled kind of vaguely sometimes, but there will be a fuse in there for the oxygen sensor. And so if you check all that, you checked out the wiring, that all looks good, there's no blown fuses or anything like that, then very likely this sensor has just gone bad and just needs to be replaced. You can test it if you want to. There's some really good YouTube videos on that. It's a low-cost part, so most people go and replace it. It's usually around $30, $40, something like that. One thing to keep in mind is that these sometimes require a special tool to get back in, since that wire is right there. Sometimes you need that special tool to screw them back in. It really is going to vary. Like this one right here, if you have the right tools, you might not need a special tool. So if you had a deep well socket, you could cut the wire, remove it with the deep well socket, and then you could put the new one in with an open-end wrench. But sometimes this can be indented down into the exhaust, and you almost need that special tool. So it's really going to vary, but go and look at it and keep in mind that you might need this tool. I'll put a link down below to show you what it is if you need to see what I'm talking about. But just keep in mind you might need that tool to get it back in. And so that's basically it. I just want to give a real quick brief overview of how you go about fixing a Nissan with the P0140 code. If you have anything to add, please comment down below. If you have any questions, ask me and I'll try to answer them. If this video helps you, please click like, please click subscribe, and have a good day.